Live from New Delhi, you're watching GD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Amritpal Singh. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's push for more weapons from allies continues on the sideline of the Ambrosetti Forum in Italy. Zelensky meets Dutch politician Geert Wilders and Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, among others. Huge protests held in South Korea's capital Seoul against the government's climate inaction. Protesters demand more aggressive action by government to combat global warming. Super Typhoon Yagi batters Vietnam after blowing past southern China. First news from the Ukraine-Russia conflict. The Russian forces have taken control of 6 more settlements in the Donetsk region, while Ukraine on Friday reported over 100 battles had taken place along the front lines. The Russian Ministry of Defense reported that its forces had captured 6 settlements in Donetsk over the past week and launched 17 massive strikes on Ukrainian military targets, including missile systems and critical energy infrastructure, using long-range precision weapons.
As a result of active and decisive actions by units of the Center Group of Forces, the settlements of Kirovo, Paishe, Skushne, Karlovka, Zavinte, and Zuravka of Donetsk People's Republic were liberated. Formations of 5 mechanized infantry, ranger, airborne assault brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, a National Guard brigade and a Territorial Defense brigade were defeated. 53 counterattacks of units of the Armed Forces of Ukraine were repelled.
A video clip was released by the governor of Russia's Belgorod on Friday, showing local residents hiding in concrete shelters during Ukraine's shelling, as captured on CCTV cameras. In the accompanying statement with the post, the governor wrote that 1,765 protective structures have been installed in the region, with over 500 of them in the city of Belgorod itself. He urged people not to ignore air raid sirens and to take shelter immediately. The Belgorod region has come under frequent cross-border shelling and drone attacks during the course of the conflict. It's adjacent to the Kursk region, where Ukrainian forces breached Russia's western border last month in an incursion that Moscow's forces are still fighting to repel. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky met Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni on Saturday as he presses allies for more weapons in his country's fight against Russia. Zelensky met Meloni in Cernobbio, which is a city in north of Italy, on the margins of the European House Ambrosetti Forum. Before heading to Italy, Zelensky had on Friday pressed his case to allies meeting at the U.S. Ramstein Air Base in Germany, where Washington unveiled $250 million in new military aid for Ukraine. He also met German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. And after a meeting with the Ukrainian president, Italy's Prime Minister Meloni said on Saturday that Italy would never waver in support for Ukraine, and that the current stalemate in the war showed that the Western response to Russia's retaliatory attacks on its neighbor was the right one.
I believe actor nations like China and India have a role to play and must play a role to resolve the conflict in Ukraine. The only thing that cannot happen, gentlemen, is to think that the conflict can be solved by abandoning Ukraine to its fate, because that will not bring peace, it will bring chaos. It will bring wars closer to home, and it will bring many economic consequences, all the more serious than what it costs today to support Ukraine. The choice of supporting Ukraine has been first and foremost a choice of national interest, and it's a choice that won't change.
And Zelensky also met with Dutch politician Geert Wilders on Saturday at the Ambrosetti Forum in Italy. President Zelensky thanked the Netherlands and the entire Dutch people for their comprehensive support of Ukraine. Both leaders discussed Ukraine's peace plan for ending the 30-month-long war with Russia. The UN Security Council strongly condemned on Friday Taliban's morality law, calling on international community to use its influence to push for an immediate reversal of policies that target women in Afghanistan. Speaking to media persons at the UN headquarters, Japan's UN envoy noted that the 15-nation Security Council has repeatedly discussed the worsening human rights situation in Afghanistan since the Taliban took over in August 2021 and have raised a united voice on multiple occasions.
We once again urge the Taliban to swiftly reverse all the policies and practices that restrict the enjoyment by women and girls of their human rights and fundamental freedoms. The Taliban need to listen and respond to the voices of Afghan women and girls by respecting their rights to education and for women to work, as well as the freedoms of expression and movement.
Asia's strongest storm this year, Super Typhoon Yagi, uprooted thousands of trees and swept ships and boats out to sea, killing one person as it made a landfall in northern Vietnam on Saturday, after leaving at least 23 dead through southern China and the Philippines. Vietnamese authorities had warned that the typhoon posed a serious threat to the country, despite weakening slightly after its initial landfall in China. Before reaching Vietnam, Yagi struck China's southern island of Hainan, and it caused severe flooding there, uprooting trees and knocking out power to over 800,000 homes. Over 30,000 protesters gathered in South Korea's capital in broiling heat on Saturday, demanding more aggressive action by government to combat global warming. With temperatures exceeding 30 degrees Celsius, protesters, young and old, marched in the country's biggest demonstration so far this year, snarling traffic in central Seoul, which was under a heat advisory. Organized by 907 Climate Justice March Group, the protest followed a ruling last month by South Korea's top court that the nation's climate change law fails to protect basic human rights and lacks targets to shield future generations.
The climate crisis is not a problem unique to a single country or individual. We need systemic change, and we are running out of time as the climate continues to change.
Boeing's Starliner spacecraft landed uncrewed in New Mexico desert on Friday, capping a 3-month test mission hobbled by technical issues that forced astronauts it had flown to the International Space Station to remain there until next year. Starliner returned to Earth seemingly without a hitch, a NASA live stream showed. Though the mission was intended to be a final test flight before NASA certifies Starliner for routine missions, the agency's decision last month to keep astronauts off the capsule over safety concerns threw the spacecraft certification path into uncertainty, despite the clean return Boeing executed.
NASA and Boeing safely returned the Starliner spacecraft just after 11 p.m. Central Time to the White Sands Space Harbor in New Mexico, after spending approximately 3 months attached to the International Space Station.
This kind of should be a sort of moment of celebration, but we don't have the Boeing folks here at the table. There's no explanation why. It doesn't appear that there's joyful unity, if there is.
Despite international efforts to normalize relations, tensions continue between Serbia and Kosovo. Kosovo took decisive action on Saturday by closing 2 of its border crossings with Serbia. The move came after protests on the Serbian soil saw demonstrators partially blocking roads and turning back travelers, including those holding Kosovo documents. This protest was in response to rising tensions in Kosovo's volatile north. Kosovo and Serbia share 6 border crossings. In recent months, Kosovo has closed Serbia's state-run mail service and stopped the use of Serbia's currency, the dinar, in that region. India surpassed China to become the top-weight country in the Morgan Stanley Capital International Emerging Markets Investable Market Index. During the month of September, the weightage of India stood at 22.27% as compared to 21.58% of China in the index. The rebalancing reflects broader market trends. While Chinese markets have struggled on the back of economic headwinds in the country, Indian markets have benefited from favorable macroeconomic conditions. In the recent past, the country has posted a much superior equity market performance driven by strong macroeconomic fundamentals of the Indian economy as well as robust performance by the corporates. Further, the gains in Indian equity market have been broad-based, reflected across large cap as well as mid cap and small cap indices. Key factors contributing to this positive trend include a 47% increase in foreign direct investment early this year, decreasing Brent crude prices, and substantial foreign portfolio investment in Indian debt markets. According to analysts' estimates, post this rejig in the index, Indian equities could witness inflows of about $4 to $4.5 billion. While interacting with media personnel, India's Union Minister Kiren Rijiju expressed pride on how the Indian economy has surpassed China's economy over time. The minister also mentioned how the country's economic growth has surged, powered by tourism.
We are growing faster than China now. Again, the IMF and other financial institutions have given India the forecast for the growing as the fastest big economies. Only India is growing fastest among the big economies. India's parameters in all the sectors are doing extremely good, including becoming an attractive destination for the foreign investment. Today, India is a bright spot in the global economy, unlike the Congress time when India was amongst the fragile economies of the world.
Vice President of India Jagdeep Dhankar inaugurated the first Sainik school in eastern Uttar Pradesh and the second managed by the Uttar Pradesh Sainik School Society in Gorakhpur on Saturday. The Sainik school, inaugurated by the Vice President, is built on a 49-acre site and costs $21 million US. During the inauguration ceremony, Vice President also received the first Guard of Honor at the new Sainik school. Speaking on the occasion, the Vice President touched upon a number of issues, referring to report of rise in India's foreign exchange reserves. What the Vice President said that India has come a long way since the time it had to pledge gold to tide over a financial crisis.
दुनिया में भारत की पहचान आज अलग है और इसमें उत्तर प्रदेश की भागीदारी 2017 के बाद गुणात्मक है। सोने की चिड़िया कहलाने वाले देश का सोना हवाई जहाज से स्विट्जरलैंड के 2 बैंकों में गिरवी रखा गया, हमारी साख बने, क्योंकि हमारा फॉरेन एक्सचेंज तब 1 बिलियन और 2 बिलियन US डॉलर के बीच में था, जो आज माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी 680 बिलियन से ज्यादा है।
Still to come on this edition of DD India Live, India's Prime Minister interacts with teachers who were conferred the National Teachers Awards. Indian Paralympic athletes receive a grand welcome at Delhi's airport on their return home.
This week on Defense Dynamics, we will talk about future-ready combat vehicles, a vehicle designed not just for today, but for the battlefields of tomorrow. It is a symbol of India's rising defense capabilities for the next 50 years. We will also tell you about 6716 rifle, known for its robust design and amazing combat performance in the battlefield. Watch all this on Defense Dynamics on Saturday at 8:30 PM IST on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Amritpal Singh. As part of his annual program related to Teachers' Day celebrations, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with teachers across the country at his official residence in Delhi. During the interaction, he suggested teachers to explore Vedic mathematics and teaching of Sanskrit during school education. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who takes keen interest in education through practice, said that even language should be taught through speaking. He gave his own example and experiences in this regard.
लैंग्वेज बोलचाल से बहुत जल्दी सीखी जा सकती है।
बिल्कुल सर।
मुझे याद है मैं जब गुजरात में था तो नडियाद में मेरे यहाँ एक महाराष्ट्र का परिवार नौकरी के लिए, वो प्रोफेसर थे, नौकरी के लिए आए। उनके साथ उनकी वृद्ध माताजी थी। अब ये महाशय पूरा दिन भर स्कूल कॉलेज में रहते थे, लेकिन लैंग्वेज में जीरो रहे वो 6 महीने के बाद भी। और उनकी माताजी कुछ पढ़ी लिखी नहीं थी, लेकिन वो धन गुजराती बोलना शुरू कर दिया। तो मैं एक बार उनके यहाँ भोजन के लिए गया, मैंने पूछा ये नहीं, बोले हमारे घर में जो काम वाली है ना उसको और कुछ आता नहीं, तो बोले मुझे सीख गया।
बिल्कुल सर।
बोलचाल से सीखा जाता है।
बिल्कुल सर।
अब मुझे बराबर याद है, मैं जब छोटा था तो मेरे स्कूल में जो टीचर थे थोड़े स्ट्रिक्ट भी थे और हमें स्ट्रिक्टनेस थोड़ी तकलीफ करती थी। लेकिन उन्होंने, राजा जी ने जो रामायण महाभारत लिखी है तो उसमें से रामायण की जो बहुत परिचित वार्ता तो सबको परिचित होती है, तो बड़ा आग्रह करते थे कि राजा जी ने जो रामायण लिखी है उसको थोड़ा धीरे धीरे पढ़ना शुरू करो। कथा पता था, भाषा पता नहीं थी, लेकिन बहुत जल्दी कोरिलेट करते थे। 1-2 शब्द समझ गए तो भी लगता था हाँ ये कहीं सीता माता की कोई चर्चा कर रहे हैं।
After releasing Bharatiya Janata Party's election manifesto in Jammu on Friday, Union Home Minister Amit Shah addressed a rally in the valley. He termed the upcoming elections in J&K as historic and cleared that the BJP will fight and win the election with full strength. J&K will be voting for its 90-member assembly in 3 phases. First phase of voting is scheduled on September 18th. The other 2 rounds will be held on September 25th and October 1st, and the counting will take place on 8th of October. At the invitation of India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Khalid bin Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, will pay an official visit to India from tomorrow on. This would be the first visit of Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan to India as a Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi. He will be accompanied by several ministers from the UAE government and a business delegation. On 9th of September, that's on Monday, the Crown Prince will meet Prime Minister Modi and hold discussions on a wide range of areas of bilateral cooperation. He is also scheduled to call on President of India. On the 10th of September, the Crown Prince will visit Mumbai to participate in a business forum in which business leaders from both countries will participate. And let's now take a look at other stories making news today. A total of 258 officer cadets and 39 women officer cadets were commissioned into the Indian Army at a spectacular ceremony at the Officers Training Academy in Chennai on Saturday. Vice Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General N.S. Raja Subramani, reviewed the passing out parade. India sent around 2,300 kilograms of medical aid to Chad in response to a deadly fire incident in the African nation. At least 9 people were killed in the fire incident. Notably, India has repeatedly extended help to different countries across the world during crisis situations. Chief of Defence Forces of Maldives, Major General Ibrahim Hilmi, called on India's Chief of Defence Staff, General Anil Chauhan, and on Saturday. Discussions held on furthering defence cooperation between India and Maldives and measures for strengthening regional security. And now updates from the Paris Paralympics 2024. Indian Paralympic athletes received a grand welcome at Delhi's airport on their return home. They had put up a record-breaking show at the Paris Paralympics. Almost half of the Indian contingent, that includes Avani Lakhera, Mona Agarwal, Pranab Surma, Rakesh Kumar and Manish Narwal, has touched down in Delhi. Fans and family members greeted them with garlands and drum beats.
Family members and enthusiastic fans. Parachuter Mona Agarwal, who clinched a medal, got emotional after union with her family as she met them after a long time.
बहुत खुश हूँ कि मैं मेरे बच्चों के लिए ये मेडल जीत पाई। इन्हें छोड़कर गई थी, बहुत दुख हो रहा, लेकिन मेरे बच्चे बहुत स्ट्रांग हैं, उन्होंने मेरा बहुत साथ दिया और इनका विश्वास था कि इनकी मम्मा मेडल जीतेगी और मैं जीत सकी। मेरे परिवार का समर्थन मेरे पास वहाँ पे भी था, उनकी ब्लेसिंग्स थी जिसकी वजह से मैं मेडल जीत पाई और वो लोग सब मुझे वेलकम करने के लिए यहाँ आए, उसके लिए मैं बहुत ज़्यादा खुश हूँ, बहुत ज़्यादा। ये मेरे लिए एक सरप्राइज था।
Para archers Rakesh Kumar and Sarita are thrilled with India's performance at Paris Paralympics. They said that due to the Indian government's support, the medal tally will be highest at this edition of the Para Games.
जी मैं अपने देश के 140 करोड़ लोगों का धन्यवाद करूंगा जिन्होंने हमें सपोर्ट किया और हम यहां तक पहुंचे। सरकार की सपोर्ट हमें मिल रही है, स्पोर्ट्स अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया एसोसिएशन की सपोर्ट मिल रही है और हमारे देश में खेल का स्तर बढ़ रहा है। आगे आने वाले आपको पैरालंपिक में देखेंगे आप और ज़्यादा मेडल आएंगे।
सभी ने बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस दिया और बहुत सारे मेडल आए अब की बार और आगे भी अच्छा करेंगे। मैं बहुत अच्छा लगा, सबका मतलब सबका स्वागत करते हुए सब मेडल का वो कर रहे हैं, बहुत अच्छा लगा। मैं
When India sent its largest ever contingent of 84 members to the Paris Paralympics, it was expected that these players would create history at the Para Games. The Indian Paralympians have done just that. This edition of Para Games has proved to be a milestone for India. In these games, India has given its best performance ever. One hopes success of Paralympians will continue and they would bring more honor for the country in future events. Suchitra Bharadwaj's report for DD India, Delhi.
India's Hokato Hotose Sema won the bronze medal in the men's shot put F57 class at the Paris Paralympics. The 40-year-old Indian para-athlete made his games debut, secured the Paralympic medal with a personal best of 14.65 meters on his fourth attempt. The bronze medal brought India's total medal count to 27. Hokato Hotose Sema, who serves in the Indian Army, lost his left leg in a landmine blast in 2002. Iran's Yassin Khosravi clinched the gold, while Brazil's Thiago Paulino dos Santos won the silver medal. Indian President Draupadi Murmu extended congratulatory wishes to Sema. President Murmu wrote on X, "Heartiest congratulations to Hokato Hotose Sema on winning the bronze medal in the men's shot put event at the Paris 2024 Paralympics." So that's what the President wrote on X, congratulating the Indian shot put Paralympic athlete. Indian shooter Rajeshwari Kumari, who appeared on her maiden Olympics at Paris, said that India's fourth place finishes reflect its rise in Olympics. The Asian Games medalist also spoke about Indian government's phenomenal support to all the athletes. She said this in an exclusive conversation with DD India's Narayan Singh.
Indian shooters are doing exceptionally well, whether it is Olympics, Paralympics, and they are winning medal in all the mega events. And right now I'm joined by Rajeshwari, who won medals at the Asian Games and participated in the Olympics also. Rajeshwari, the way things are going in the Indian shooting, Indian shooters are winning medal at the Olympics, even Paralympics. So what's the reason basically you find behind the steep rise of the Indian shooting?
I think it's the support that we get. Everything everything that we asked for is given to us now. Between the federation and the government, we're very well supported. So it's been increasing, and now finally the results are showing.
Right now, the Paralympics in Paris is underway, and Indian shooters has already won medals there. A gold is there, a silver is there. So what's your message to them as the tournament is still there, still underway?
I wish them all the very best of luck, and we are super proud of them and can't wait to receive them when they come back.
If we talk about right now the Indian sports arena, the way our athletes are performing in the Olympics, we saw there were 6th, 4th place finished, and we won 6 medals there. And we have athletes who are defending their medals, shooters who are winning 2 medals in the single edition. So where do you think, what do you think that regarding the Indian sports right now, in the coming events, definitely we can set new benchmark?
Definitely. I think that we are just getting closer and closer, and eventually all of these 4th places and like the ones that have missed the final will be finalists, 4th places will be just medals very, very soon.
So the way Rajeshwari said that Indian sports, not only shooting, but sports is also doing very well, and the way things are going on, the kind of support they are receiving from the government, Sports Authority of India, definitely Indian shooters or Indian athletes will take it to the next level in the coming events also.
The festival of Ganesh Chaturthi is being celebrated today in all over the country. It was also celebrated in Colombo with great devotion. The Indian diaspora in Colombo participated in the puja and aarti at the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center amidst a Dol Tasha Lesem, a locally made Ganesh idol that was used for Pran Pratishtha. The day marks the birth of Lord Ganesh, who is a symbol of wisdom, prosperity and good fortune. Also known as Vinayak Chaturthi or Ganesh Utsav, the day marks the beginning of 10-day-long festivities during which people place clay idols of Lord Ganesh at their homes and worship them. And that's it then in this edition of DD India Live. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. The app is available both on Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code you see on your screens right now to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Amritpal Singh from my entire team here in Delhi. Thank you for watching DD India Live.